Welcome back. We are looking at the Democratic candidates for Attorney General. We just heard from Aramis Ayala. We now turn to Fort Lauderdale Attorney Jim Lewis.
I've been a lawyer here in South Florida for a long time. 42 years, been practicing. I was a prosecutor for the first 12 years of my career. And I think now I've got to the time, I've got the experience, and it's just a lot of things that bother me about how our state's been running. And I think I can make a difference, and I want to get in there and see if I can't do some things.
So what bothers you about the way our state's been run?
Well, political corruption, this is well been known to be a pay-for-play state. I see all of these donations that people are making. Both Governor DeSantis and our Attorney General Ashley Moody are contracting out legal services to some out-of-state law firms, millions of dollars, and then they get campaign contributions from those same law firms. I mean, to me, that's public corruption. And we got to do something about it. I know political action committees have basically made campaign donations to be irrelevant, but to allow people like Big Sugar, FPL, Publix, for them to have major says in terms of how our government is running is wrong. It leaves the regular guy, the guy who works hard and makes a living and takes care of his family, he doesn't have anything to say about how state government is run. It's all run by major corporations and donors that give $10 million to the governor, and it needs to stop.
So let's just pick up right there, because you've made a point of saying that you're really not even trying to raise any money. You have virtually no money as a candidate. Wouldn't you need financial support to be able to get your message out there?
The guy who ran for the Senate in New Jersey, I think, showed us that there is a way that you can run a low budget campaign and get your message out. He beat, I think, the most powerful person in the legislature in New Jersey by spending, I don't know, what, $50 or $60. Now, I've limited myself to $25,000, most of which is my own money, because I don't want to take money from these special interests. But I'm doing enough and getting signs out there, using social media, and relying upon what people know about me here in South Florida in terms of that I'm qualified. And I'm doing my best to get my message out. Now, maybe I won't win. I've run for political office many times before, as you know, and I haven't won. But I think now we're getting to the point where people know that when these large donations come out, where they're coming from and what people expect to get from them.
You are what is often derisively called a perennial candidate. You haven't been successful in any of those races. So what makes you think this time will be different?
Well, because timing is everything. And my father once told me, if your heart is in the right place and you have the strength to fight and you truly believe in something, you keep doing it. I believe in what I say. And I believe when I say that money is corrupting politics. And at some point, I think that people are going to wake up and say, you know what? This guy is qualified. He's got great credentials. He's been a law professor for all these years. He's tried over 300 cases, over 300 murder cases. Everybody knows what I'm capable of as a lawyer. And this is the top lawyer job in the state, okay? The top law enforcement officer in the state, and I want this job. I'm not sure Miss Ayala really wants the job. Mr. Uhlfelder's a nice guy, but he's basically a civil lawyer, doesn't have really much experience in criminal justice. I've been doing this for 42 years, and my heart is in it. And I think this time, yeah, I have a chance to win, even though I'm not collecting or spending a lot of money, because people are going to look for the right candidate, I think, in this time, not just for where the money comes from.
You've talked a lot about corruption, but what are the other issues that as Attorney General you would want to focus on?
Well, there's certainly the issues in terms of guns. I think we need an assault weapons ban. I don't see any reason to have these kinds of weapons out in the public. A woman's right to choose is important to me, privacy. I think that the governor, with the help of the Attorney General, who's basically his mouthpiece, have been chipping away at our rights as citizens. And I want to stop that. The other thing that really bothers me is we're not doing anything to protect the environment. Climate change, it's like it doesn't even exist. Florida, people come here and live here because it's such a beautiful place. And we're messing it up every day. And if we don't do something about climate change, these folks living on the coast are going to have real problems. So I want to protect the manatees. I want to protect the animals. I want to make sure that we have enough water to drink. I want to keep Big Sugar from ruining the Everglades. These things that are important to me. And I think as Attorney General, as the second most powerful person in the state, I'd have a bully pulpit, hopefully, to make those things happen.
Obviously, one of your opponents in this race, Aramis Ayala, has made a point of saying that She does not believe the death penalty is fair. Do you think that's a legitimate issue in this race?
I think it's a real legitimate issue, because even though you're not the prosecutor who decides initially whether the death penalty is on the table, you're the one that's going to be defending it in front of the Florida Supreme Court as someone is actually sentenced to death. This is the scenario, I'm afraid, with Ms. Ayala. Let's say, for instance, a case like the Parkland shooter. Let's say there is a death recommendation and the judge ultimately gives him death. And that case goes to the Florida Supreme Court for appeal. Does that mean Ms. Ayala is going to say, no, I don't believe in the death penalty, so I'm just going to lay down and let him get a life sentence? That would be wrong. But that's exactly what the governor, Scott, then removed her from, those death penalty cases in Orlando, one having to do with the death of a police officer. If she's going to continue to take that kind of a leftist agenda and put the death penalty, really not going to pursue it, then I'm afraid we're going to see a Republican legislature trying to impeach her. Again, the governor can't remove her or take her cases away. The Republican legislature would have to impeach her, and they almost have the votes to do it. But she would never get there because she'd never get elected, quite frankly. That's what bothers me. You know, she's going to be easily fodder for Ashley Moody to say that she's too far to the left, doesn't believe in the death penalty. You know, this is still a center and center-right state. And I think someone like myself, who's older, more mature, who's had a lot of cases, who does believe that the death penalty has a place, has a much better chance of beating Ashley Moody than someone like Ms. Ayala, who's way to the left. We need somebody in Tallahassee that is not going to be of this right-wing agenda. And right now, if Ashley Moody's reelected, if the governor's reelected, Wilson, Mr. Simpson being agriculture commissioner, I mean, we've got to have some Democrat up there being vocal to try to make sure that this state just doesn't totally fall off the cliff to the right. And I think someone like myself might have the ability to do that. I can stand up to the governor on these important issues.
Up next, Daniel Uhlfelder, also known as the Grim Reaper. Stay tuned.
After Charlie Crist campaigned for Barack Obama, Nikki Fried campaigned for Florida Republicans. When Crist was working to elect pro-choice Democratic women, Fried was calling for Hillary Clinton to be arrested and was close pals with accused sex trafficker Matt Gaetz. Crist fought in Congress to expand health care. Fried lined her pockets lobbying for tobacco and insurance companies. That's the choice: the Republican-loving lobbyist who can't beat DeSantis, or the Democrat who can.
This Checkers Texas barbecue chicken tender pileup is for Keisha. She's working a double and everything needs fixing. So we put on all the fry fixings, like melted cheddar, fry seasoned chicken tenders, and crispy onions for Checkers' new Texas pileup. Or try 3-piece tenders on their own for half off.
Thanks for staying with us. We continue our interviews with the three Democrats looking to take on Republican Ashley Moody this fall in the race for Attorney General. We conclude with Daniel Uhlfelder, a North Florida attorney who made headlines during COVID by walking the beaches during spring break, dressed as the Grim Reaper.
A little bit about me, why you should take me serious. I'm a second-generation Floridian. My grandfather escaped Nazi Germany to come to this country. He came to West Palm Beach. He settled there. He became the first Jewish city commissioner. He sat at the lunch tables in the 50s when they were trying to integrate. I went to public schools in Tallahassee. I went to Stanford University. I graduated in 3 years. I went to Florida and Georgetown for law school. I clerked for a federal judge. I've worked in the White House. I've worked at every level of government. I've been fortunate to be mentored by the likes of, I've got Bob Butterworth supporting my campaign, Alex Singh. I am the most serious person you may ever meet. In terms of the Grim Reaper, yes, a lot of people know me about the Grim Reaper. And how did I come to do that? In March of 2020, a pandemic was starting. I saw what was coming. I live here in Northwest Florida. Our beaches and our communities were being flooded from people all over the country because Ron DeSantis invited them. I sued the governor to get him to take precautions. He did ultimately issue a stay-at-home order. But then I saw as people were getting sick and dying, and I had medical folks in my community saying, Daniel, this is the biggest spring break we've ever had. We can't handle this influx of people. So I said, what can I do to get attention. I said, well, why don't I dress as the Grim Reaper? I took that drastic action, and I'm proud of doing it because it brought attention to a serious situation. This job as Attorney General is a serious job, and it requires somebody who has the qualifications, the experience to do it, and I'm that person.
All right, so let's talk about it. What is your vision for the role of the Attorney General in the state of Florida?
My vision of the role of the Attorney General is to be the attorney for 22 million Floridians. That's what I'm going to do. I'm an attorney here in North Florida, Republican community. People hire me because I'm a damn good lawyer, whether I'm Republican or Democrat. I'm going to do in line with Bob Butterworth, who's supporting me. He took on tobacco. I'm going to take on utility companies like Florida Power and Light that are jacking up rates. I'm going to take on corruption in Tallahassee. I'm going to stand in the way of any attempt to infringe upon the reproductive rights of women. I'm going to have a toll-free line where people call and communicate. I'm going to be attorney for all the people of Florida. I don't care if Ron DeSantis is governor, Nikki Fried, Charlie Crist. They will not tell me what to do. I will go to work every day and work for the people of Florida. That's what I'm going to do.
When you look at the way Ashley Moody and before her Pam Bondi, what's different in terms of what you would do compared to what they've done over the last 8-12 years?
Well, Ashley Moody has done numerous things that, in my opinion, disqualify her. First, in December of 2020, she signed onto a brief to overturn a valid election, a brief that her own staff called insane. She also stood in the way at least twice of getting the marijuana initiative even to be allowed put on the ballot. She stood in the way of the Affordable Care Act. She sued private companies like cruise lines who were trying to institute simple precautions. She's hiring law firms that are charging $700 an hour that are donors of hers. She's beholden to utility companies like Florida Power and Light that make contributions to her campaign. She's a political hack. She's not an attorney general. I will be an attorney general that will be nonpartisan, that will look at cases for consumer protection, to help people with their voting rights, to help them with their consumer rights, to help them with all these things that have been lacking in the last several years because this position has become so politicized.
There are two challengers in the primary, Jim Lewis and Aramis Ayala. What makes you different from them?
Well, first of all, I'm not a career politician. I have not run for office since high school. I'm running for office because this is a position that's uniquely fits my skill set. It's a position that I've been mentored to do by the likes of Leroy Collins, Bob Graham, and Lon Charles.
So let me ask you this question. Obviously homeowners are quite upset right now with the rising insurance rates. What role do you think the Attorney General can play in trying to keep insurance rates down?
As you know, the Attorney General is on the cabinet, also on the Board of Administration, has a huge bully pulpit to advocate for changes. The three of them just recently voted to raise it by 12%. They are beholden by the insurance companies. I'm going to investigate. I mean, these insurance executives, you don't see them starving or not making a profit. The reason they're claiming for these insurance rates are false. They're trying to blame it on lawyers, on certain issues. This past special session was just a wash. There was no remedy. It was just a facade. The homeowners insurance rates are going up at astronomical levels, and there is not a single person on the cabinet or any high level of government that is investigating why this is happening. And I'm going to do that on day one because I'm confident that once we do this investigation, we're going to see that these are not legitimate rises in rates.
If you end up being the Democratic nominee in this race, you're going to be running up against Ashley Moody, as we've discussed, who will be well-financed, will have the support of a popular governor who also has some coattails. How do you think that you can beat someone like Ashley Moody, given the current state of politics in Florida, which is clearly trending towards the Republicans?
They are going to agree with me on the issues, whether it's $15 minimum wage, whether it's marijuana legalization, whether it's affordable care, whether it's having fair utility rates, whether it's having fair homeowners insurance rates, whether it's to have basic reproductive rights. I'm going to put that message out, and I have a huge following. I've got over 4,000 donations. I've got great institutional donors. I've got folks from all over the country. They're giving $5, $10 because we need balance in this government. I'm a North Florida Democrat. I am hired by folks that may not agree with me, but they know I'm a great attorney. And my message resonates. I am what Florida needs in this situation. We need somebody that has stood up to DeSantis, that has stood up to Mike Huckabee, somebody that's principled, somebody that's is able to see issues beyond whether it's Democrat or Republican. A North Florida Democrat like myself is what we need right now.